Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with your weather hazard briefing for Friday, September 29th. Going with a little bit different look and feel for the cover photo here. We've had some beautiful weather over the last few days, but that is about to change. Our wet weekend storm is on the way, and we're going to be seeing a very different weather pattern across our region, at least for a couple days, compared to what we've seen over the course of the week. Let's look at the key points here for the next few days. First of all, today, still dry and gorgeous. Another beautiful early fall day. Temperatures generally near normal. That means we'll see upper 60s to low 70s this afternoon. No precipitation in the forecast for today. Now, as we go overnight tonight into Saturday, we're going to call this a day of transition. We originally, a few days ago, were referring to this kind of as day one of this longer duration storm, and it still is for the most part, but got a few moving parts going on here. Saturday is going to see increasing shower activity. We're also going to see some increasing wind, but we're not yet dropping those temperatures. Those high temperatures will stay fairly steady for most of you. Again, generally upper 60s to low 70s for most of southeast Idaho. So starting to bring in some early impacts from the storm, starting to transition things just a bit. But as we drop down here to the final bullet here, the final category, Sunday is when the brunt of the storm comes marching on in. We'll see much colder, wetter conditions, widespread areas of rain and showers, high temperatures only in the 50s by the time we get out into the day on Sunday. So very different weather pattern than what we've seen the past few days, particularly by the latter half of the weekend. Weather risk outlook here, breaking everything down by day and area. A little bit of patchy morning frost to potentially contend with yet again this morning. Very similar to what we saw yesterday. This will particularly be the case out across portions of the Snake Plain. I'll show you that here in another graphic. But otherwise, no impacts, no hazards expected today. Saturday, here comes that day of transition. We're going to create breezy conditions for much of the region. We're going to start to bring some showers in. Some of you may not see that much shower activity during the day on Saturday, though. Greatest chance, greatest coverage of those initial showers is going to be across western portions of our forecast area. So if you can imagine kind of drawing a line from up near Leodore down through about Arco, down through about the Malta area, along and west of that line is where we're expecting the best shower activity, with fewer showers, maybe not completely dry, but fewer showers to the east from the Snake Plain into the rest of the southern and eastern highlands. And again, breezy conditions for most of you. Now, Sunday, here is our washout day, if we want to use one word for it. Widespread areas of rain and showers, much cooler temperatures, the brunt of the storm taking place Sunday. Monday, continue some shower activity, although it won't be quite as widespread as we start to transition out of the storm. Won't completely be out of here, though, for a couple more days. Even on Tuesday, best chance of showers across the southern and eastern highlands on Tuesday, but maybe a few showers or sprinkles also lingering across the rest of our forecast area during the day on Tuesday as we slowly take that low pressure system and start shoving it off to the east. Beyond Tuesday, looks like we may see some drier conditions returning. Also warming temperatures as well as we move beyond Tuesday. Satellite loop this morning, you can see a little bit of cloud cover streaming in from the west, and this is kind of going to be the rule of order here as that storm starts to approach. We're starting to build that low pressure system and strengthen that low pressure system just off our satellite loop here. It's just off to the left out over the Pacific Ocean. That'll be coming in toward Northern California and southwestern Oregon today and tonight, and then eventually continuing to work east into our area. But still quite a bit of sunshine out there despite some passing clouds over the course of the day today. Looking at watches, warnings, and advisories out there, very similar to yesterday, we do just have one here in our local area. That is a frost advisory through 9 a.m. That's going to be for the Craters of the Moon, Arco Desert, and Mud Lake region. That's where we have the best chance at seeing some patchy frost this morning. And last I looked at temperatures, did have a few spots that were down to about 35 degrees or so. So that'll be with us here for a few hours this morning. Again, there's certainly going to be spots in our mountain regions too that we'll see some frost, but this time of year, we see lots of cold temperatures in some of our mountain valleys, and we generally don't issue watches, warnings, and advisories for frost or cold temperatures outside of the Snake Plain and Eastern Magic Valley corridor. Here's those low temperatures forecast for this morning. You can see those values getting within a few degrees of freezing out here across the Arco Desert, Craters, Mud Lake. Of course, some of our valleys up here across the mountain regions, Stanley, Copper Basin, certainly quite cold. We've seen temperatures bottoming out in the 20s and even some teens here the past couple mornings. We'll see that again here this morning. A little bit warmer as you head south toward the interstate corridors and down into the southern highlands. We're headed toward, again, beautiful temperatures this afternoon. Here they are, upper 60s to low 70s. Warmest readings in some of the southern highland valleys and the eastern Magic Valley, topping out about 70 to 73 or so. Even 61 for Island Park, where they're normally a bit cooler up that direction. So really enjoy one more day of beautiful fall weather before we start to make things a little more interesting. Here's Saturday. Again, we're bringing some wind in. We're starting to bring some showers in. Again, this is our day of transition, but we're not yet losing those temperatures on Saturday. You can see a touch cooler here across the central mountain region in the eastern Magic Valley. That's because, again, this is the corridor where we'll see the greatest cloud cover and best shower activity, best coverage of showers on Saturday. Again, kind of from Leodore to Arco to Malta or so and westward. Over in the east, maybe a hit or miss shower, but we're going to hold on to some low 70s for one more day on Saturday. Here's a look at those winds. So sustained wind speeds here over on the left image. Over on the right image, we have wind gusts. This is going to be particularly for very late Saturday morning and then throughout the afternoon and early evening hours. So a nice south, slightly southwest flow coming in ahead of that low pressure system. Sustained values here anywhere from about 15 to almost 30 miles an hour. You can see the stronger winds here, particularly down in the south central highlands. A little bit out into the kind of the Caribou County region as well, and then up here along the Montana border. And when we bring the wind gusts in, again, over here on the right, those regions are going to be gusting 30 to as high as 40 miles an hour. So it'll be noticeably breezy across a decent chunk of the region here, a little bit lower in the eastern Magic Valley. And we're keeping an eye on the south central highland region here with these south winds. You may get a little bit close to wind advisory criteria. So we'll be watching that potential here as we go forward. Okay, here's some updated numbers for our storm. As we've cautioned every morning, these will change and move around a little bit as we approach the arrival of our low pressure system here. So over on the left, these are storm total rainfall amounts. This is Saturday's shower activity, Sunday's brunt of the storm, Monday as well with showers continuing. If anything, we've backed off just slightly. Not a huge change, but maybe backed off just slightly on some of these storm total numbers. So if you notice this dark little splotch here just north of Mackay, that is indicative of 1 inch of precipitation over the 3-day period. You're not seeing a lot of those anymore, even up in the higher elevations. So a few spots, perhaps an inch, but down across all of the rest of our population centers, even up into the valleys here in the central mountains, generally expecting about 0.3 of an inch to 0.7 of an inch or so of rain over the 3-day period. So really building our confidence here that this is going to be a more of a beneficial rainfall, not so much any sort of hazardous rainfall. Of course, watch out for hydroplaning if you happen to be driving and it is raining. Also in the backcountry, certainly can't rule out some water moving around and maybe a little bit of erosion and such in some of those backcountry roads. But other than that, again, not expecting major issues here. Over on the right, again, if you're looking for snow out of the system, we're sorry, this is not your storm. This is our official storm total snowfall forecast, and you can see the only places where we're expecting to rack up several inches of snow are up in the very, very high elevations of the backcountry, particularly here in the central mountains. Maybe a couple peaks down across the south and east, but you can see this is above pass level for the most part. And I'm going to advance to the next image here. This is the probability of picking up 1 inch or more of snow. Again, very low for anywhere where anyone lives or drives. Galena Summit, maybe a 1 in 5 chance or so, coming in at 18% chance of seeing an inch of snow out of this storm, but with fairly marginal temperatures, some warm ground temperatures, really not expecting any decent duration periods here where we're going to see travel impacts. So we'll watch Galena Summit, but again, in general, snow is going to be very high elevation out of this system. Here's a look at those much cooler temperatures coming in with the storm for Sunday over here on the left image. Monday, high temperatures over here on the right image. Very similar both days. Even if you live up into the valleys, Chalice, Stanley, Sun Valley, Mackay, over to Driggs, some of these mountain valleys, temperatures only topping out in the low to mid 50s. That'll be the case right down into the Snake Plain as well for both days. So again, much cooler temperatures coming in with the brunt of the storm on Sunday, lingering into Monday with some shower activity. So that's what we're looking at here for the next few days. Again, enjoy today. One more dry, gorgeous early fall day before we transition Saturday. Watch out for some increasing winds, maybe a few showers. And then, of course, Sunday, if there's a day to avoid being outside or try to avoid some travel, if you really don't like driving in the rain, Sunday is the day to avoid with much colder and wetter conditions across southeast Idaho. That's it for your briefing this morning. If you have any questions, of course, we're always here 24/7. Feel free to reach out. Everyone have a safe and wonderful Friday.